Good evening. I'm calling to order the Salem Housing Authority of Salem for June 22nd, 2026. Will the recorder please call the roll?
Commissioner Tigan.
Present.
Commissioner Matthews. Here. Vice Chair Gwynn.
Here.
Commissioner Brown.
Present.
Commissioner Vang, absent. Commissioner Nordijk.
Here.
Commissioner Varney.
Here.
Chair Nishioka.
I'm here. Thank you. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the Vice Chair Gwynn, we have an addition. So if you would move for the addition, that's from Commissioner Matthews.
I move approval of the addition to our agenda, which is 5A.
Second.
Any questions, anyone? Recorder, please call the roll for the addition.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Vang, absent. Commissioner Nordijk.
Aye.
Commissioner Varney.
Aye.
Commissioner Tigan.
Aye.
Commissioner Matthews.
Aye.
Vice Chair Gwynn.
Aye.
Chair Nishioka.
Aye. Thank you. The motion passes. We do have public comment this evening. We have 2 people signed up, and each of you will have 3 minutes to speak. When you step up to the podium, you'll press the bar and see the green light come on. Is there anything else I need to ask? I'll let them know about. Name and ward. And you will provide your name, address, or ward that you live in. So the 2 people we have for the Salem Housing Authority, first is Jonas Cervantes and Kyle, I think it's Durkee.
Is this, okay, everyone can hear me. All right. It's pronounced Jonas. So recently a video was posted online that showed a certain city councilor advocating for a new program that assists presumably first-time homeowners. Although I am not opposed to homeownership for personal use, I'm opposed to using public funds for what in practice would amount to a bailout of the local real estate market. Before any more money is used for public-private partnerships, we should first see how wages in Salem affect the ability to purchase or rent housing. What's the use of lowering housing costs if the price for feeding and driving ourselves keeps going up? The problem, as I see it, are the relatively stagnant wages everyone is suffering from. In fact, most working people have taken what is in essence a pay cut due to inflation. Greasing the palms of local businesses will not solve this issue. I ask that City Council continue their high and medium density housing projects, as this is the most effective way of alleviating our current housing crisis. If Council is truly concerned about ownership of housing and rent prices, I suggest they explore rent control via city-owned housing and/or rent-to-own programs for said housing projects. For-profit housing got us into this mess in the first place. The continued pursuit and obsession with profits will only exacerbate the issues we currently face.
Thank you. Before the next speaker comes, is there any way that we can improve the audio, or is this as good as it can get? All right, go right ahead. The green light is already on, so you don't need to press anything.
Councilors, Chair, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Recently, discussion has emerged around using public resources to assist prospective homeowners. While I support homeowners home ownership for those who seek it, I believe we must be careful that public funds are used to serve people, not to prop up a housing market that is increasingly falling behind working families. Before investing additional public dollars into public-private partnerships, we should first confront the reality facing Salem workers. Housing affordability cannot be separated from wages. What good is a mortgage assistance program if working people continue to struggle with rising costs for food, transportation, health care, and other necessities? The housing crisis is not simply a housing problem. It is a cost of living crisis compounded by wages that have failed to keep pace with inflation. For many workers, every year feels like a pay cut. If we are serious about addressing housing insecurity, we must prioritize solutions that place people before profit. That means continuing investment in high and medium density housing, expanding publicly owned and permanently affordable housing, and exploring resident-controlled models such as housing cooperatives. These approaches help ensure that housing remains accessible to the people who live and work in our communities, rather than becoming another vehicle for speculation and profit extraction. Likewise, if the city is concerned about expanding opportunities for homeownership, it should explore pathways that build long-term community stability, including rent-to-own programs connected to publicly owned housing developments and cooperative ownership structures that allow working families to build equity without fueling speculative markets. The lesson of the current housing crisis should be clear. For-profit housing models have not delivered affordable housing for Salem residents. Decades of treating housing as a commodity have contributed to rising rents, displacement, and growing housing insecurity. We should not respond by doubling down on the same approach that helped create the problem. Housing exists to house people. Public policy should reflect that principle. People implanted before profit, housing is a human right.
Kyle, before you leave, can you give us the ward you live in?
I live on Braze Avenue. I don't know.
All right, thank you very much. It's written right here. So, all right. That concludes public testimony. Vice Chair. Vice Chair, will you, do you have a motion for consent calendar?
I move approval of the consent calendar.
I'll second that. Commissioner, to your motion.
Our consent calendar this evening consists of our May 26 draft Salem Housing Authority minutes, 3.1a, and that's it.
Anyone have any questions? Will the recorder please call the roll?
Commissioner Vang, absent. Commissioner Nordyke.
Aye.
Commissioner Varney.
Aye.
Commissioner Tigan.
Aye.
Commissioner Matthews.
Aye.
Vice Chair Gwynn.
Aye.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye.
Chair Nishioka.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. We don't have any public hearings. We are now to special orders of business. This was the addition. And so I will turn this over to Commissioner Matthews to speak about a potential future motion.
Thank you, Chair. You'll see in your packet, the motion is, there's no action on it tonight. It's just informative so that you guys kind of know what I'm thinking, what I likely will propose in the near or in the future. I think we've all heard about the scattered site proposal, and I think we're all in support of the 79 units that we're looking to sell. And right now we're looking to sell those partially to Habitat for Humanity and partially to individual homeowners. But in kind of looking at the finances, not that it's a bad model, but it just is a slightly more discounted model than I think there might be a more practical model that doesn't have as much discount involved in it. And so currently the model is that we would sell approximately $25 million worth of assets for a much lesser amount, I think approximately 15% of its overall value, so approximately 85% discount. It would still go into home ownership in the long run, and so it's approximately 79 families would sort of win the lottery within Salem and get to buy a house at a very affordable rate, somewhere in possibly the $250,000 range. But in my mind, that kind of stops right there. You've helped the 79 people, and that is a great thing, but it doesn't give the long-lasting impact. And so my proposal is possibly not even possible, is the first thing to be clear on, because they are HUD properties, and so HUD has to approve whatever we do with them. And the model, while it does have some similar veins to other programs in other communities and what they've done, it's not entirely exactly the same. And so one of the caveats is that in our current program that I'd be proposing, we would sell all of the housing, all 79 units at market rate, which would be about approximately $25 million according to our current assessments. And we would take that $25 million and we would put it in an endowment fund. So think of it like your savings account. So we'd put it into our savings account, and that savings account we, on average, draft around 4% interest on. So that's about $1 million worth of interest that we would gain on that $25 million every year. By turning that $1 million over into down payment assistance at a maximum value of $100,000 per down payment assistant loan, all the way down to as low as $25,000 or whatever it was someone needed, we would basically be committing to every year in perpetuity, so long as the actual program existed, helping between 10 people or 9 people on the low end, depending upon some operational costs, and possibly 40 on the high end, which is probably unrealistic. Probably most people would need more than $25,000 worth of a down payment assistance, but it at least it's a tailored, tiered system. The less you have to help with the assistance, the more people we can help in the long run. So the endowment fund would operate solely on the interest. We wouldn't be touching the principal at all, the original $25 million. It would sit in that endowment fund, and we would just be operating the down payment assistance off of the interest piece. It also means that in the future, when the program is no longer needed and the entire system goes away, we say, okay, we're shutting down this program. You still have the original principal to invest back into whatever project you felt like was important, whatever project helped with housing at that time or was the goal. And so, again, the big question comes down to traditionally HUD, they want to see you sell a property, and so they're very much in proponent of us selling these properties. That's going to happen one way or the other in their mind, is we need to sell these 79 properties because they're costing HUD more and costing us more than we're actually netting on the benefit. And so in knowing that, they'd like to see us sell these properties, and they usually want us to take those funds that we make from those properties and immediately reinvest them. So take the funds that we make and immediately turn around and build different housing with that profit. The part that's unique about this is that we wouldn't actually be doing that. We'd be leveraging that into an endowment fund, and we'd be using the interest as the beneficial amount. So whether HUD will allow that in the long run, that's still what's being vetted out right now. And HUD's not easy to work with, surprise. Takes a long time, and talking with staff, it's quite a process. I think to get here with the current model, it's taken about 2 years. And so to be kind of upending and going with a different model, it'll be a time-consuming process. I think at the moment, the current proposal offloads about 8 houses per year, or 8 units per year of the 79. And so as we kind of go through this process, like I say, it may not be something fast, but ultimately, ideally, even if we offloaded the first 8 units in our current proposed model, and then on the long-term model started working on the other alternative option, I think that there's, like I say, I think there's a better way possibly than what we have right now if HUD will allow it. But I just wanted to put it in there as an information item so that everyone knew at least what I was working on.
Are you going to make your motion?
I don't think there's a real motion to make.
I move to direct staff to reevaluate the current proposal.
So the motion would actually come the next time. So when the original plan is that staff were thinking they'd be bringing back the proposal and the signed contract with Habitat for Humanity at this meeting. And so the original proposal was that I would bring back a motion at this meeting to basically ask that we reevaluate this other option at the same time. That got delayed out a little bit, so there's less of an urgency, but this motion was already kind of in movement. And so I moved it back from actually making a motion for staff to do that, because staff's already looking into it at this point, to saying, just letting everyone know that when that actual contract comes back is when I would likely bring this motion. But that way everyone, because this is really our only opportunity to ever really actually communicate with each other, this seemed like the right opportunity to be able to bring it forward so that everyone was aware of kind of what my goals are and what I'm trying to work towards. So.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Matthews. I'd like to call Nicole Utz to the podium so that she can speak to some of this concept.
Sure, thank you. I'm Nicole Utz. I'm the Director of Salem Housing Authority, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
If we could ask the speakers to speak up as much as you can, we're having obvious trouble with our audio system.
Okay, thank you. I'm Nicole Utz. I'm the Director of Salem Housing Authority, and I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, I might like to see if I can understand this a little bit better. As I understand, you have about 8 houses that you're currently working forward on, and as Commissioner Matthews said, there's more houses. Can you help explain sort of this process that you're going through and what you've already had to do with HUD? It sounds like you're already communicating or finding out the process for this. Maybe you can talk about that.
Sure. Hopefully everybody can hear me. This is a pretty standard Section 18. It's called demolition or disposition of HUD property. And it's a pretty lengthy process that we started in 2024 to help go through all of the HUD requirements in effort to what they call do a disposition of these properties. During the course of that time, we reached out to the public through public meetings or various different community meetings, neighborhood meetings. We contacted and worked with our resident advisory board in what they would like to see. There was an overwhelming response for affordable home ownership. So there are specific requirements for when we have HUD properties. These properties are, yes, they're owned by Salem Housing Authority, but they have a deed restriction by Housing and Urban Development. And so we have to meet a certain threshold through our special application center for us to move forward with the project. And so the first 8 houses, we intended to bring forward a plan for you June. We will likely be back in August due to various other things on our priorities. We weren't able to get to it this month. But you have been hearing about this for the last few years in what's called the Public Housing the PHA plan. And I think last month we brought a PHA plan into you that talked about this disposition of these properties. But beyond that, we still have to do a special applications process to HUD themselves for approval. So although we feel this plan is phenomenal and we wish that we had additional funding to be able to make it happen, we do not know if this process or this motion would be approved by HUD. That it's not meeting all of the requirements of their program for disposition. We have requested additional panel calls with them to go over this motion as well as a potential opportunity. But the plan for this year was to bring forward to all of you 8 homes that we had intended to dispose with Habitat for Humanity as a partner in this program at what HUD allows as a below market value. In effort for them, there's still a public commensurate value in that home for it to go to a nonprofit who specializes into affordable housing. The $24 million that is discussed is the full value of all of the homes. There are 33 homes that we had identified to work with Habitat for Humanity. These homes have been identified as needing additional work, potentially wouldn't pass a home buyer's inspection. So the goal was to work with Habitat for them to take on the homes. They would work with their clients to rehabilitate them, bring them up to a higher value, and then resell those homes to affordable homeowners, which they do. This is what they do every day. Under 80% of the area median income more in a partnership. If they make more money off of those homes, then that above what that is would be returned to the Salem Housing Authority. Our viewpoint in this is that those individuals, those homes that can then go back out on the market, homeowners can get into the homes at the affordable value. They're working with Habitat for Humanity. And although I think this plan is amazing and wish we had endless amounts of money or HUD would allow us to do it, I don't know that this is something that's going to be approved by them. It's something worth looking into. But there's also a factor that as a public housing authority, we're not also experts in housing finance. And so there would be a level that we would have to gain and potentially some additional capacity help in our agency to be able to make a program of this level happen.
Thank you. I know that we're having trouble with audio. You may have to review that information again at the next meeting.
Absolutely.
I think that with the audio issues we're having, I feel that the information report we had the opportunity to see. I don't think we should have you necessarily review it at this time. And I will hold my questions for another meeting. I'm hoping that we can adjourn this and that we can work on the sound quality before we move on to another meeting. Did you have a question?
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's very difficult for me to hear tonight, but I know we're not anticipating making a decision on this motion tonight anyway. So first of all, I want to thank Councillor Matthews for bringing forth this idea in such great detail. And I also appreciate the feedback provided by our housing director. What will be helpful for me is to see staff formalize its response in writing so that I can see what's feasible based on what Councillor Matthews is proposing so that I can weigh the two in further deliberations. I also want to recognize the fact that many of the ambitious programs that have been identified in the motion concern cities that have considerably larger budgets, staffing levels, and so on. It doesn't mean we can't strive to always do better and dream big in this city. I was particularly interested, though, in something closer to home, the Eugene Affordable Housing Trust. I would be curious to know what staff's position is on something like that, that not only is a comparable city in size, but in statewide regulation and other things that are unique to the state of Oregon, revenue streams that are unique to us, barriers that are unique to us, and so on. So I look forward to continuing this conversation. And thank you again, Councillor Matthews.
Yes, thank you. And we will hear more and potentially get some further information from Salem Housing Authority before the next meeting. For now, I'm going to adjourn. We're going to see if we can improve the audio. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Urban Renewal Agency for the City of Salem for Monday, June 22nd, 2026. Will the recorder please call the roll?
Board Member Tigan.
Present.
Board Member
Present.
Tigan.
Give him a second. Can you just give him a second to respond? There's a delay on the Zoom now.
Board
Can you
Member
hear me now?
Nishioka. Board Member Matthews.
Here.
Board Member Gwynn.
Here.
Board Member Brown.
Present.
Board Member Vang absent. Board Member Nordike.
Here.
Board Member Varney.
Here.
Chair Julie Hoy.
Here. Is Councilor Brown in the Zoom?
I'm waiting to see the response.
I am here, but I don't think you can hear me.
Oh, I can hear you now.
I am present and accounted for.
Again, apologies for the audio difficulties. There's about a 30-second delay with the Zoom feed, so the counselors that are online will need to give them a little extra grace if they need to speak, and they'll need to give us a heads up ahead of time if they'd like to interject during deliberations.
Thank you.
I didn't say I was here, but I assume he knows I'm here.
Thank you, Board Member Nishioka. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
We do not have any additions to this agenda that I am aware of, unless I'm missing something. No, it's in the other one. So no addition.
Are you hearing Councilor Nishioka? Online? Yes, okay. No additions then or deletions? Thank you so much. We're moving on then to public comment. We do have, no one for urban renewal signed up. Okay, Board Member Nishioka to the consent calendar.
Thank you. I move for approval of the consent calendar, but I will be pulling item 3.B.
Second.
We have a motion by Nishioka and a second by Gwynn. Counselor to the motion.
Thank you. The consent calendar doesn't sound like people can hear me. My light is green. The consent calendar consists of the June 8th, 2026 draft urban renewal minutes, Resolution 3.2A, adopt resolution number 2627.
Switch that up.
Can you hear me better? Yes, great. Adopt resolution number 26-07 URA to adopt the fiscal year 2027 Urban Renewal Agency of City of Salem. Action items: appoint and reappoint the individuals listed in the facts and findings section of the West Salem Redevelopment Advisory Board, and then that would complete the consent calendar.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, will the recorder please call the roll?
Board Member Tigan.
Aye.
Board Member Nishioka.
Aye.
Board Member Matthews.
Aye.
Board Member Gwynn.
Aye.
Board Member Brown.
Aye.
Board Member Vang absent. Board Member Nordike.
Aye.
Board Member Varney.
Aye.
Chair Julie Hoy.
Aye. All right then. We have no public hearings. Now we do have a special order of business. Counselor, to your motion.
Thank you. So the reason I pulled 3.3B was this is
Counselor,
on...
could you start with a motion, please?
Thank you. Thank you. I need to say the motion first and then discuss it. So the motion is authorize the executive director to execute the attached marketing agreement addendum for marketing the Salem Convention Center, providing transient occupancy tax revenues of $520,000 for Salem Convention Center marketing in fiscal year 2027.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Matthews. Counselor, to your motion.
Thank you. So the reason I pulled this was I just had a few questions that I wanted to ask about the convention center. Other counselors may have them. And so I believe some staff will step up to the podium and hopefully we'll be able to hear them. Once there, I'll start. Hello. You might want to introduce yourself and then I'll ask the questions.
Hello, I'm Bill O'Donnell. I'm the Financial Services Manager.
Thank you. Mayor Hoy, may I go ahead and ask some questions? Thank you very much. You're proposing to invest $520,000 of the transient occupancy tax towards this convention center. And I'm wondering if you can help us understand how we evaluate whether that investment is successful. So I'm just trying to get some information on how effective those top dollars are being used for the convention center.
We have conversations with the Salem Convention Center about the marketing plan each and every year. And so by experience, they're learning what marketing tactics are generating good outcomes and which ones have been less successful. And certainly they've had to modify their approaches over the years, for example, during the pandemic and things like that. But they were remarkably successful even during the pandemic. And so since then, they've been finding where their best results have come from in terms of their marketing and apply the funds that way. But the extent that they're also conservative with the use of the funds, and so they aren't trying to exhaust all the funds every single year. They're trying to make the best use of the funds, and that's partly why you see somewhat of a balance carried over from year to year. And I think the results of the convention center in terms of the revenue they're generating, their overall operating performance, shows that they're doing a good job in utilizing the convention center availability and that their marketing tactics have been effective. So, but it's a conversation takes place every year, and so to hear from them about what they're learning and the different approaches and changes in their tactics has been very helpful for us. So.
I guess what I'm trying to understand is the return on the investment and whether or not you have those kind of statistics. The TOT funds are needed by many cultural organizations, and I know they're very precious dollars. And so I just want to make sure that the funds are being well used and the return on investment is certainly beneficial for all.
In terms of the actual investment, I looked back and it said that the convention center is built with a $7.2 million Section 108 loan and $24.9 million in taxable bonds were issued in 2003. So that's $32.1 million invested in constructing the Salem Convention Center. This most recent year, the profit returned to the City of Salem in two payments totaled $913,328.44. So that's nearly $1 million. So if you actually divide that into the $32.1 million, you get a 3% return.
Thank you.
But that's not counting the economic benefit to the community in terms of just the restaurant use and hotels and all of that. So it's a good situation for the City of Salem.
Thank you. And that brings up another point. Are you able to track how those dollars actually support the business and have estimates on what kind of money is spent when something comes to the convention center?
We've had conversations both at the Salem Convention Center and with Travel Salem, and we know there's a lot of interest out there in terms of, how many people are coming from out of town, out of state, and that type of thing. But if you think about how professional associations work, normally the membership applies to the association's website to say they want to register for the conference and pay their fees for the conference and that type of thing through the professional association's website. The association is booking the convention center, they're blocking rooms at hotels and that type of thing. So the Salem Convention Center doesn't have the data to know where the people are coming from, but they are tracking and reporting to us the number of attendees at all of their events, and they're doing it by month. So they know the number of attendees, they know other things like their website visits, online RFP requests, all of that type of thing is being reported to us. But as far as the breakdown of where the attendees are coming from, they really don't have a practical way of knowing that, let alone tracking it.
All right, well, thank you. That's still helpful information.
Councilor Nordyke.
Thank you. My question has to do with the carryover. In the staff report, it says that there are over $132,000 in unused funds. So the proposal of the additional $520,000 is that I'm just wondering why they don't use, why don't we subtract $132,000 for $520 if they have all this unused TOT funds?
Okay, because the contract requires that the city made a commitment to the Salem Convention Center that we would give them either 10% of the tourist occupancy tax or a minimum of $300,000. And so the 10% is estimated to be in the coming year approximately $520,000. So that's the written commitment we have with the Salem Convention Center, is that they will get 10% each and every year, or at least $300,000. But again, if you think about the pandemic or other economic difficult times that could be ahead, to have some extra marketing funds in the bank is, I think, a positive thing to have. And so in other words, they're not trying to exhaust the funds just to use them so they can say, yeah, we used all the money. They're trying to be very smart and conservative with the use of those funds to make sure they're getting the best bang for the dollar, but not needlessly spending the money either. And at some point, if the contract ended, the funds would be returned to the city.
And, Bill and Kristen can correct me if I'm wrong, but the TOT funds work the same way the city budget does. So we have a beginning fund balance that we use carryover funds for. The same way with the convention center, with the TOT money, they carry over money as well. So at least a portion of that 136 is for marketing operating funds for the convention center during the first few months of the fiscal year.
Councilor Matthews.
Thank you for that explanation. That makes sense to me. And, the idea, I've been part of organizations in the past where Q4 comes and you're trying to spend all the money in your budget because otherwise it's going to get cut next year. So I appreciate that the concept isn't, well, if they don't spend it all, they're going to lose it, because otherwise we're incentivizing everyone to spend all of their budget every year.
That's it.
And so, but I did have a question. So, and you may not have this information, and that's okay. But do you know how our convention center compares to other similar facilities? As far as, from what I was looking at here, it looked like we were fairly profitable from it. And so I guess, is that fairly comparative to other convention centers, or are they more or less? Or
honestly, I haven't seen data on other Salem convention centers. My background is actually higher education. I spent 29 years in higher education, so I look carefully at their financial statements, and they do have their expenses broken down separately for cost of goods sold. And so working with universities, I always had dining services reporting to me. So I really related to the revenue they're generating from food and beverages and that type of thing versus their costs. And so I think they're doing a great job financially. And also, actually, the financial statement package they provide to us each month and each quarter is a nice package of financial statements. I mean, they do a really nice job reporting, so I've been very pleased with that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
And if there is nothing further, then I think we're ready for a roll call.
Board Member Nishioka.
Aye.
Board Member Matthews.
Aye.
Board Member Gwynn.
Aye.
Board Member Brown.
Aye.
Board Member Vang absent. Board Member Nordike.
Aye.
Board Member Varney.
Aye.
Board Member Tigan.
Aye.
Chair Julie Hoy.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Moving on to the information reports. Item 6A, purchases approved administratively from May 1st, 2026 through May 31st, 2026. Any questions? Okay, great. Seeing none, I'll close the meeting of the Urban Renewal Agency and open the meeting of Salem City Council for Monday, June 22nd, 2026. Will the recorder please call the roll?
Councillor Tigan.
Present.
Councillor Nishioka.
Here.
Councillor Matthews.
Here.
Councillor Gwynn.
Here.
Councillor Brown. Councillor Vang absent. Councillor Nordike.
Here.
Councillor Varney.
Here.
Mayor Julie Hoy.
Here. All right. We are moving on to approval of additions and deletions to the agenda. Chair Nishioka.
Yes, I move for additions to the agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second by Gwynn. Counselor to the motion?
You know what? I think it probably is here. We have several additions. Is this it right here? Yeah. Thank you for the help. We have, let's see, a draft. I'm sorry. I don't see the revisions. So I'm seeing this, but all of these are additions? 4 additions. Okay, thank you. You can have that back. So there are 4 additions. There is something to 3.1B. Added the January 15th draft council work session. January 15th? June, thank you. We'll correct that. 3.3B, revised report to include additional appointment recommendations for the Community Police Review Board. 5.C, added a presentation. And 6F, corrected ward numbers for wards 2 and 4. Thank you for the help, everyone.
All right. Anything further? Will the recorder please call the roll?
Councillor Varney.
Aye.
Councillor Tigan.
Aye.
Councillor Nishioka.
Aye.
Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Councillor Gwynn.
Aye.
Councillor Brown.
Aye.
Councillor Vang absent. Councillor Nordike.
Aye.
Mayor Julie Hoy.
Aye. All right. We're moving on to council and city manager comment. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share? Councillor Nordike.
Thank you so much, everyone. First of all, I want to congratulate the event organizers for Make Music Salem Day. It was an absolutely perfect day to host impromptu celebrations all over the city, celebrating punk, celebrating jazz, celebrating rock, classic, funk, all of the above. It's a great way to build community. I think it's a way of peace building, really. So I want to say congratulations to all the performers, to all the local businesses who played host and venue, to the performers, to everyone who came out and supported these groups with their hard-earned dollars, and to all of the organizers of the event itself. It was really wonderful, and my family and I was honored to be a part of it. My family performed some music at Salem on the Edge Art Gallery in downtown Salem, so that was fun too. So I really appreciate that. Also, although this does not take place in Salem, the Oregon Renaissance Fair is happening every weekend for the month of June. And as you may have heard, they have bought a golf course outside of Salem city limits. So I had a chance to chat with the owners of the Wandering in Time group. I'm very excited for the fact that they plan on opening an event space at the former Oak Knoll Golf Course. We are many, many, many months away from that happening, but I'm excited for the opportunity for economic development because they will be looking for workers from the Salem area, and of course they'll be looking for customers from the Salem area too, and vice versa. These may be folks who need hotel rooms and lodging and gas and coffee and other provisions in the Salem area, all while operating an event space not too far away from us. So I'm excited for that and other ways to support economic development in our area.
Anyone else? Anyone online want to share? Councillor Brown or Councillor Tigan? Nope. Nope. Okay. Well, I would just like to say that this was a very full and busy and culturally rich weekend. The Juneteenth celebration was really very well done, and I got to hang out with my CERT buddies for that one. That was good. Also, the 21st annual Sick Parade happened. It was really incredible. It's the first time I've ever been, and I would guess maybe there were somewhere around 400 people, maybe 500 people there. It was very well attended and such a kind and loving community to be a part of. Also, Make Music Day was fabulous. I got the shirt. And yeah, there was just so much good music happening everywhere you seemed to look. So went for a couple hours in the early day and then came back for the last two bands in the amphitheater, and it was great. Got to see some friends play. So, and got to meet the folks who own the new vinyl print shop here in town. So very exciting. All right. If no one has anything else they'd like to share, we will move on to proclamations. And we're going to start with a proclamation called Virginia Green Day. And Virginia Green, would you please come forward with your son? What happens when we turn this one on? Can you hear me okay? All right.
I haven't been able to hear anything.
You haven't? I understand the sound in here is terrible. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll use my outside voice.
Beautiful. I'll use mine too. I'm going to read the proclamation in your honor, okay? So it says this, and here's the proclamation for you. It says, whereas the City of Salem is proud to honor and celebrate the exceptional contributions of its citizens who dedicate their lives to enriching our community, and whereas Virginia Green, a beloved and dedicated resident of Salem for more than 25 years, has significantly shaped public awareness and appreciation for Salem's rich heritage through her tireless efforts and passion for history. And whereas Virginia Green has authored Shine on Salem, history blogs, walking tour guides, and other heritage content, bringing Salem stories to life through the Statesman Journal, KMUZ, and the Willamette Heritage Center. And whereas Virginia Green has served honorably on the Library Advisory, Historic Landmarks Commission, and City Budget Committee, contributing her expertise and leadership to Salem's governance and preservation efforts, and whereas Virginia Green has been recognized as the namesake of the Salem Historic Landmarks Commission Annual Virginia Green Award and received the 2011 Heritage Award by the Willamette Heritage Center, and whereas Virginia Green, on the occasion of her 100th birthday, continues to inspire Salem with her vibrant spirit and steadfast dedication to our community. Now, therefore, I, Julie Hoy, the mayor of the City of Salem, do hereby proclaim July 9th, 2026 as Virginia Green Day. In the City of Salem, Oregon, in recognition of Virginia Green's extraordinary contributions to our community and in celebration of her 100th birthday, dated this 22nd day of June, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Hoy, the city council members, and your staff that puts together these programs. When I came here to Salem in 1999, I was a stranger, but I knew that there was one place that I would be welcome. I came right down here to the library and offered my services as a volunteer. The staff introduced me to the City of Salem and began introducing me to people. Very shortly afterwards, the city was given an opportunity to have a Salem history website. So that's how I began. Everything that I have done in those years started right here at the library. So I'm so happy tonight that this honor is being given to me just a few steps away from where I began. I'm so grateful. I thank you very much for this remarkable celebration of my 100th birthday, and I will cherish it. Thank you very much.
Talk about an inspiration. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to move on to a proclamation for Men's Health Awareness Month. If I could please ask for Matthew Brebrick, Matthew Geren, and Shyla Geren to please come forward. Thank you for being here. Just come alongside me here. I'll read this, okay? And then we'll get a picture. That's lovely. Okay. Whereas men's health is essential to the well-being of individuals, families, workplaces, and the broader community, and promoting physical, mental, and emotional wellness helps people lead healthier, more fulfilling lives. And whereas men face a range of health challenges, including heart disease, cancer, diabetes, depression, anxiety, and other physical and mental health conditions that can significantly affect quality of life. And whereas men are often less likely to seek preventative care, routine screenings, mental health support, and timely treatment, which can increase the risk of serious health complications. And whereas encouraging healthy lifestyles, regular medical checkups, early detection, and access to health care and mental health services can improve health outcomes and contribute to a stronger, healthier community. And whereas Men's Health Awareness Month provides an opportunity to increase awareness, encourage prevention and early intervention, and support the overall health and well-being of men and boys. Now, therefore, I, Julie Hoy, the mayor of the City of Salem, do hereby proclaim June 2026 as Men's Health Awareness Month in the City of Salem, and I encourage all residents, businesses, healthcare providers, schools, faith communities, and organizations to join in promoting awareness, healthy lifestyles, preventative care, mental wellness, and access to healthcare resources that support the health and well-being of men and boys. Dated this 22nd day of June, 2026. There you go. Thank you. Awesome. I had the pleasure of meeting these wonderful folks at the first Gentleman's Ride for men's mental health awareness. So would you like to say a few words, Matthew? Perfect.
If I can find my notes. Thank you. This year was the inaugural Ride for the Distinguished Gentlemen right here in Salem. It's the largest fundraiser for the Movember Foundation, which supports men's mental health and prostate cancer awareness and research all over the world. It's the world's largest motorcycle ride, organized motorcycle charity event, especially one that focuses on vintage motorcycles and riders in tweed, not the big leather-clad bikers you think of. This is our inaugural ride here in Salem. I've done the ride many years myself. Matt has participated in a few himself too. Portland and Eugene. We decided to bring here to Salem, to our hometown. We raised $1,500 for men's mental health with our sponsors Field Fastener and Triumph Salem. Already planning next year's ride. Love you guys to come, anyone to come. Keep an eye out for spring for announcements and things like that. But we're excited to be here, and thank you again. Thanks, Salem, for hosting us.
Let's get a picture before you go, okay? Come on in, Matthew. All right, Councilor Nishioka, will you please come forward?
Is that up there? Oh, it's right here. Great. Thank you. So I get to call up the three of you. So we have Tom Foam and Carly Wright, and remind me one more time her name. Jewel.
Sorry, Juliana.
Oh, Juliana, why didn't I even recognize you? Oh my goodness, thank you. So anyway, here we are. Here they are from the Elsinore, and I will. I'm going to just have you hold on to this, and I'm going to read it from here. First off, I'm going to say I am extremely excited that I get to read this proclamation. The Elsinore is in my ward. My ward is the best ward. I'm sorry, all of you. I'm sorry. My ward is the best ward, and I appreciate the mayor letting me do this proclamation to support the Elsinore. And I will also say you really have stepped it up. It is amazing how much has been going on at the Elsinore, and I've had the pleasure of going to many of the events. So thank you all very much. Now to the proclamation. Whereas the Elsinore Theater opened its doors in 1926 in downtown Salem as the showplace of the Willamette Valley, a grand destination for film, live entertainment, and community gatherings. And whereas designed by the architectural firm Lawrence and Holford and the Tudor Gothic style, the Elsinore Theater was inspired by the Castle of Elsinore depicted in the Shakespeare's Hamlet and remains one of Salem's most recognizable historic landmarks. And whereas for 100 years, the Elsinore Theater has served generations of residents, visitors through film, music, comedy, dance, lectures, community celebrations, and live performances that have enriched the cultural life of Salem. And whereas through the periods of challenge and restoration, the Elsinore Theater has endured because of the dedication, generosity, and belief of the Salem community, preserving an important piece of the city's architectural and cultural history. And whereas the Elsinore Theater continues to serve as a cornerstone of downtown Salem, welcoming hundreds of thousands of patrons while supporting tourism, economic vitality, arts education, and community connection. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 100th anniversary of the Elsinore Theater, celebrating a century of entertainment, storytelling, and shared experiences in the heart of Salem and in Ward 2. Now, therefore, Julie Hoy, Mayor of the City of Salem, Oregon, does hereby proclaim 2026 as the Elsinore Theater Year in Salem and encourage residents to recognize, celebrate, and support the Elsinore Theater for its lasting contributions to the art, culture, and history and the spirit of the Salem community, dated this 22nd day of June, 2026. Yes, thank you. So we're going to let you, I'll take this for a moment, take that out, yeah. Yes, Tom, go ahead.
Watch how quick this will be. Thank you, councilors, Mayor Hoy. It's an honor for us to receive this award, and as importantly, it's an honor for the three of us. Carly Wright's our marketing manager. Juliana Rowell is our development director. It's our honor to be stewards of this beautiful building. 100 years is a long time, and I'm happy to report that we're going strong, and we're going to be around for a while. So thank you for this nice proclamation, and have a nice night.
Wait, I think we're getting a picture. Yeah. Good.
Thank you all for being here. We have no presentations, and we will move on to public comment. We have one person signed up tonight, Catherine Dobler. Please come forward. I hope I pronounced it right. Oh, thank you. Be sure to hit that button and just announce your ward or your address for the record.
Sure. I'm not sure of my ward, but it's 460 Washington Street South. So good evening, Mayor Hoy and members of City Council. I'm Katie Dobler, Vice President of Salem Health Medical Group and Chair of the Center 50 Plus Future Planning Committee. It's my honor to present the Center 50 Plus annual report this evening. First, I want to talk about why Center 50 Plus is different. Before I share this year's highlights, I want to speak at why Center 50 Plus is unlike any other senior-serving organization in this region. Under Salem Revised Code, Center 50 Plus is legally required to serve all residents, no membership fees, no eligibility gatekeeping, and no barriers. That open access mandate makes the center the backbone of our region's age-friendly infrastructure in a way no private organization can replicate. When Salem's 50-plus population walks through our doors, they belong there by law and by design. That commitment is grounded in an age-friendly lens, a framework that asks at every decision point, are we designing our community so that people can live and thrive here for their entire lifetime? Salem's 50-plus population is growing rapidly, and the decisions we make today about transportation, housing, social connection, and health services will determine whether this city is ready. Center 50 Plus applies that lens not just inside our walls, but across every program, partnership, and every community we reach. Increasingly, our work extends well beyond those doors. When we accepted the proclamation here last month, we talked a little bit about that. Some annual report highlights our Wellness on Wheels van, or the WOW van. Our award-winning mobile senior center expanded this year to reach 12,960 seniors across Salem's 22 mobile home parks and senior living communities. The new Mobile Meals and Connection Kitchen program transforms underutilized community spaces into places where neighbors gather, share meals, and stay connected, bringing Center 50 Plus to seniors who cannot come to us. Respite and Caregiver Support Program. This year, our Respite and Caregiver Support Program served 1,877 participants, individuals living with Alzheimer's, dementia, and early cognitive decline, as well as the caregivers who support them. Through our Among Friends and Time with Friends programs, we provide structured, compassionate support up to 3 times per week, giving caregivers respite and giving participants meaningful connections and dignity. Lastly, our Willamette University partnership. Our partnership with Willamette's Office of Civic Engagement, Communications, and Public Health Departments is one of the most powerful examples of the age-friendly lens in action. Student leaders contribute more than 100 hours of meaningful service each year, tackling isolation, ageism, and the ongoing need for social connection, while gaining real-world experience working across generations. This partnership doesn't just benefit our members, it shapes.
Catherine, I'm sorry, your 3 minutes have expired. Thank you. Okay, we are moving on to the consent calendar. Chair Nishioka.
I move for approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion and a second by Gwen. Counselor to the motion.
Thank you. The consent calendar consists of the June 8th, 2026 City Council minutes and the June 15th work session minutes. And in resolutions 3.2A, adopt resolution 2026-20 extending the city's lien forgiveness program until June 30th, 2027, thereby extending the duration of the authorization for the city health officer to forgive liens in the city's lien docket and the associated penalties, fees, and interest resulting from violations of the property maintenance code. 3.3B, adopt resolution number 2026-32, authorizing a transfer of appropriations within the city's fiscal year 2026 budget. Action items 3.3A, authorize city manager to apply for funding to design and construct the Geren Island Water Treatment Facility Bridge Replacement Project through the BRIC grant program, and if successful, authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with FEMA to accept these funds. 3.3B, appoint and reappoint applicants identified in the report, and there were 3 that were missing on that list and now have been included. 3.3C, award the city and urban renewal agencies financial auditing services contract to, I think it's Redwood, or just Red, RDW, LLC. Thank you for the help. And that concludes the consent calendar.
Thank you. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add or share? Any questions?
Councilor Tigan.
Oh, Councilor Tigan, I see you. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to speak on behalf of the lien forgiveness program. I'm really excited to see the success stories.
Would you like to try that again? Do you want to give it another shot, Councilor Tigan? I can see the gratitude in your face. That's good news. Okay, anyone else? Okay, will the recorder please call the roll?
Councilor Tigan.
Aye.
Councilor Nishioka.
Aye.
Councilor Matthews.
Aye.
Councilor Gwynn.
Aye.
Councilor Brown.
Aye.
Councilor Vang absent. Councilor Nordyke.
Aye.
Councilor Varney.
Aye.
Mayor Julie Hoy.
Aye. All right, moving on from that, we do have a public hearing this evening. So, Carl, go right ahead when you're ready.
The Salem City Council will now conduct a public hearing to receive testimony pertaining to the exemption from competitive bidding process and authorization of an alternative contracting method for the Geren Island Flow Maintenance Project. This hearing will begin with a staff presentation followed by testimony from interested persons. Testimony is limited to 3 minutes per person.
Good evening, Mayor Hoy and council members. My name is Ben Haney. I am an engineering program manager with the city's Public Works Department. Thank you for your time tonight to talk about collaborative delivery for the Geren Island Flow Maintenance Project. The city is the acting contract review board allowed to authorize an exemption to competitive bidding to the competitive bidding process per the Oregon Revised Statutes. And I'm here to request an exemption for this project. This evening, I'll be providing an overview of the city's water system, the need for the project, the benefits of collaborative delivery, the project schedule, and our recommendation. So the city gets its water from the North Santiam River. Headwaters are near Mount Jefferson. The river flows through Detroit and Big Cliff reservoirs to our Geren Island Treatment Facility, which is near Staten. Water is treated at the facility and conveyed to the city where it supplies commercial and residential users as well as provide fire flow. In addition, we supply water to the city of Turner, unincorporated areas of East Salem, Orchard Heights Water District, and we have an emergency intertie with Kaiser. So, as suggested by the name, the Geren Island Water Treatment Plant is on an island in the North Santiam River. At the island, the river divides into the South Channel and North Channel flowing around the island. The city's water intake, surface water intake for the treatment facility is on the North Channel. And further downstream, the Santiam Water Control District also has an intake that supplies irrigation water to their irrigation system. There are 2 dams around the island. There are small dams named Upper and Lower Bennett Dam, and those dams work to control the flows within the North Channel, both the flows and water levels, to ensure that sufficient water is supplied at our water intakes. However, over time, changes in the river just upstream of Upper Bennett Dam have resulted in less and less flow going to the North Channel and towards our intakes. This is an issue the city's been monitoring for some time. And in 2025, a decision was made that we need to proceed with a project to do work in the river to ensure that those flows continue to get diverted into the North Channel to supply our water intake. So that year, the Geren Island Flow Maintenance Project was included in the CIP, Capital Improvement Program, and we began the early processes of the design process, early steps of the design process. Excuse me. So the project will involve moving sediment in the river and constructing some large log jams and wood structures to help divert flow to where we want it to go, and then also stabilize banks of the river in certain areas. Additionally, that large the large wood structures provide habitat for fish and wildlife. The construction schedule on this project is largely driven by environmental regulatory regulations. So the North Santiam River, because of threatened fish species in the river, has a very confined allowable construction window. So we can work within the river between July 15th and August 31st every year. Because of this limited construction window, we anticipate it may take up to 2 summers construct the project. And that is also challenging because that July 15th to August 31st period is also aligned with our period of highest water demand at the treatment plant, as well as the lowest naturally occurring flows in the river. So one of the big challenges of this project is to figure out how to stage and construct the project without disrupting flow into our treatment plant, ensuring adequate flow throughout the course of the project, but also doing that while trying to do a lot of work within a short duration of time. Because of that reason, we feel that collaboration with the contractor early in the design process is critical to making sure this project is constructed successfully. So the standard process for delivery of a capital improvement project and infrastructure project is the design bid build process. And with the design bid build process, the project is completely designed and to 100% permits are secured, then we go to bid and then construction. And that's how we deliver over 90% of the projects we do in public works. It's a good process for most of our projects. However, for large projects or projects with a lot of complexity, a lot of risk, they are often a good fit for a collaborative delivery method. So for this project, we are requesting the ability to do a construction manager at risk process, otherwise known as CMAR. The CMAR process is also known as a CMGC process. Those terms are interchangeable. So in a CMAR process, we're able to bring the contractor on board early in the design process, and they act as a partner with both the city and the engineer throughout the design and into the construction. What this allows us to do for this project specifically is incorporate their feedback, their knowledge, their expertise in construction and constructability to come up with a good plan to deliver this project efficiently in the tight construction frame, but also not threaten the water supply, supplying our intakes. And so that's going to take a collaborative approach between the city, our design experts, and the contractor. The other element that a collaborative delivery process allows us is the ability to perform early work and early procurement of materials, often before the design is even finalized. For example, in this project, we may be able to construct access roads and procure logs for these large log structures before the design is finalized, which will allow us, we believe, to get out into the river a year earlier than we would otherwise through a traditional process. So ultimately, that will allow us to complete this project in as few summer construction periods as possible. Finally, this collaborative delivery CMAR process allows us certainty on the budget before the design is finalized, before we open bids. So we have the contractors required to provide ongoing construction cost estimates throughout the process. So we can identify early if there's a disconnect between our budget and our scope and look for alternatives for value engineering, possibly adjusting scope to align those. So the way that works is near the completion of the project, we negotiate with the contractor what's called a guaranteed maximum price. It includes some contingency, and that is a price at which the contractor, their costs will not go over. And so this, in turn, reduces risk for the city. So as I discussed before, with a traditional design bid build process, we would not be able to start work or procurement prior to the final design and final permits in hand, which would allow us, our estimate is we would complete construction after the summer 2029 work period. With a collaborative delivery procurement, we anticipate being able to complete this project a year earlier with much less risk to operations of our treatment plant. And those time savings equate to cost savings as well. So for these reasons, our recommendation is to adopt the resolution in support of an exemption to the competitive bidding process and use the CMAR contracting method for the Geren Island float maintenance project. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
We have no one signed up for testimony, so if any of the council have any questions for staff? Councilor Nishioka?
Not so much a question, but I recognize saving a full year and being able to do this work sooner, especially with many of the uncertainties with the drawdown and all of that. I see how this would be very, very beneficial to have this bidding process. Thank you for the presentation.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. We're going to close the public hearing.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
I move to adopt resolution number 2026-11 in support of the exemption from the competitive bidding process and use of a CMAR contracting method for the Geren Island flow maintenance project.
Second.
Motion and a second by Gwen. Anything further to your motion, Councillor? Anyone else comment? Well, I too, that's why I just love public works, engineers who just make things better. It's good news to save money and save time. Thank you. Councillor Tigan or Brown, I don't see you. Okay. No? Okay, thanks so much. We'll close that hearing then, and will the recorder please call the roll?
Councillor Nishioka.
Aye.
Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Councillor Gwynn. Councillor Brown.
Aye.
Councillor Vang, absent. Councillor Nordyke.
Aye.
Councillor Varney.
Aye.
Councillor Tigan.
Aye.
Mayor Julie Hoy.
Thank you. Aye. Okay, motion passes. We are moving on to special orders of business. And I believe that Councillor Nishioka and Councillor Nordyke need to excuse themselves from items 5A and 5B. Is that right?
Yes, I need to recuse myself for actual conflict for both 5A and 5B, so I'll step out, and if somebody can let us know when it's time to come back in. Thank you.
Sure, and I too will declare an actual conflict of interest with regards to 5.A and 5.B, owing to the fact that my family owns property. That is one of the many things that is embedded within these massive documents. And sometimes it's not easy to divorce that from the 99.999% of the other items, so it's easier to just recuse yourself from the vote entirely. Thank you so much.
So, Councillor Gwynn, are you going to fill in for Chair Nishioka then? Thank you.
So I move that City Council adopt the capital improvement plan for fiscal year 2027 through fiscal year 2031.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Matthews. Councillor, anything to the motion?
No, I think we've seen it.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Will the recorder please call the roll?
Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Councillor Gwynn.
Aye.
Councillor Brown.
Aye.
Councillor Vang, absent. Councillor Nordyke, recuse. Councillor Varney.
Aye.
Councillor Tigan.
Aye.
Councillor Nishioka recuse. Mayor Julie Hoy.
Aye. Motion passes. We're moving on to item 5B. Councillor Gwen.
I move that City Council adopt, Resolution 2026 through 31 to adopt the fiscal year 2027 City of Salem budget.
Second.
We have a motion by Gwen, second by Matthews. Councillor, anything to the motion?
Well, I do want to thank city staff for all the hard work that was put into creating our budget for this year. And Josh, thanks again.
Anyone else? Oh, Councillor Tigan, I see you. Go right ahead.
So much to say. No way to say it.
Right there. You're on.
I don't think I can be heard, so.
We can hear you loud and clear, sir.
In that case, I will echo my thanks to the staff and for our budget committee members in the work putting together this document and sending it to the council for approval.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, will the recorder please call the roll?
Councillor Gwynn.
Aye.
Councillor Brown.
Aye.
Councillor Vang, absent. Councillor Nordyke, recused. Councillor Varney.
Aye.
Councillor Tigan.
Aye.
Councillor Nishioka, recused. Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Mayor Julie Hoy.
Aye. Motion passes. We are now moving on to item 5C. And we need Councillors Nordyke and Nishioka back into the space. Thank you, Josh.
Hi, Dan Atchison, City Attorney. Casey, if you could bring up the presentation, that would be great. Can you go ahead and put that in presentation mode for me? Thank you. All right. So this is an upcoming ordinance that's going to be on City Council's agenda most likely July 27th. I'm just going to give you an update on some of the changes we're recommending to make to boards, commissions, and committees, what are known in most of these documents as governance groups. The recommendations, the intent behind them is to standardize membership qualifications, create efficiencies within the city, and align the group's mission and purpose with the city policies and goals. Next slide, please. So in 2024, we commissioned Moss Adams, now Baker Tilly, to provide a governance assessment. That report was brought to council in May of 24. It provided recommendations on a number of topics. The one we're talking about tonight essentially is boards and commissions. There was also some recommendations on the city charter and the neighborhood association program. As far as boards and commissions go, they made several, 15 different, what they called observations and recommendations following up on those. Those were items like standardizing the bylaws for the different boards and commissions, reviewing the membership requirements for boards and commissions, requiring these groups to have annual work plans as well as annual reports to council, providing a framework for councilor liaisons, reviewing the application process for board and commission membership. Part of that included reviewing the actual application that people fill out and trying to make that a little bit easier for council and the boards and commissions appointments committee that makes recommendations on most of these to learn better information from the candidates. In addition, the recommendations from Moss Adams talked about the different onboarding process we go through or don't go through for our different board and commission members, as well as support for those groups, which is limited to, in most cases, to a single staff member who might support several boards and commissions as part of their daily work. We also looked at consolidating or sunsetting some of these groups. After that, the process went to council where you received the information and provided some direction for us. We met with the Boards and Commissions Appointments Committee essentially from June 2024 until recently to review the different boards and commissions and get additional feedback. We also checked in with council a few times during that process and received more direction. The ordinance is a little bit of a massive undertaking because there's multiple boards and commissions, and each of those boards and commissions is usually created by ordinance, or in some case resolution, or in some cases an IGA between the city and the Urban Renewal Agency. And the different membership requirements are sort of embedded like Easter eggs in these different documents. And so the idea is to create some of the standard membership requirements in one place and try to standardize them for most boards and commissions. Next slide, please. And one more, please. Sorry. Thank you. So as far as the general requirements, we were proposing a minimum age of 18, that the member be a resident or work or have their business in Salem, that a member be a member of a maximum of 2 governance groups, that there be a 2-term maximum for each member, no compensation, but we do reimburse for authorized expenses, and a preference for diverse backgrounds and representation from all wards, and then a criminal background check. The criminal background check piece was moved by council and adopted by council a few months back, so we've included that into this process. One note on these general requirements: if the specific ordinance or resolution for a board and commission says that they can have a youth member or that they are allowed 3 terms or something like that, that specific allowance for that board and commission would take precedence over the general requirements. A little bit more on the background checks. Next slide, please. They apply, currently we run background checks on all volunteers, and we've added applicants and members of governing groups. There's no cost to the applicant. It costs approximately $15 per background check. The city covers that expense. There is an additional charge if there is more than one jurisdiction. So if someone lived in multiple states over the past several years, there might be an additional $15 charge for each jurisdiction, but by and large, it's $15. Last year, we had about, I want to say, 190 applications for boards and commissions, so the cost to the city is fairly minimal to run these checks. After the background check is received and the applicant consents for us to run that, we would administratively review that. And if the applicant didn't meet the criteria for the background check, their application would be administratively rejected. They do have the opportunity to seek review or an appeal option to the City Council through the Boards and Commissions Appointments Committee. So essentially what would happen is the applicant would come in, they would consent to a background check, we would run that. If there is an issue with that, we would reject it based on the previously approved council criteria for the background check, which I'll show in a moment, and let the applicant know. Then they would then have the option to say, no, I want the council to still consider my application, or I think you've got something wrong, essentially. At that point, we're trying to preserve the privacy of the applicant by keeping that information confidential. But if the committee, which is a governing body of the city and subject to public meeting laws, has to review that material, it has to be provided to, as a publicly available document. So we want to ensure that the applicant knows that. It would go to the committee, they would treat it like any other application, and then consider whether to recommend that person be appointed. If the committee were to recommend they be appointed, would then go to City Council like any other recommendation. Next slide, please. So several months back, when Council adopted the background check requirement for applicants, they also adopted the criteria. These criteria were originally drafted by city staff, myself, the Salem Police Department, and folks in our Community Services Department. The applicant criteria are a violent felony, if they're under investigation for a crime or have a pending criminal case, a misdemeanor conviction within the last 3 years, other criminal history that gives reasonable concern for the safety of others, And then that, as I mentioned, that criteria has been previously adopted by council. If you'd like to amend that, we can do that through the ordinance as well. Next slide, please. So the purpose behind the membership requirements is to provide standard requirements for all boards and commissions, to broaden the eligibility, to allow greater participation by community members. So in some cases, some of the boards and commissions have very prescriptive requirements for each of the different seats on the commission. One has to be a specialty in this area, one has to be a resident in this area. And over the years, the Appointments Committee has had a difficult time filling vacancies, as well as council filling vacancies, when we just don't have an eligible applicant, but we might have 3 or 4 vacancies on a particular board or commission. So one of the objectives in sort of homogenizing some of these membership requirements is to make it more generally applicable and to create more at-large seats when that's appropriate. We did go to all the boards and commissions and seek their input on what our objective was and how they would feel about making these changes. In most cases, those recommendations from the boards and commissions were adopted by the Appointments Committee. Let's see. Next slide, please. So we also looked at sunsetting some of the boards and commissions. At this point, the only advisory group that the Boards and Commissions Committee is recommending to sunset is the SHA Housing Advisory Committee. They've had a difficult time finding residents and clients who are willing and able to serve on that. There is also a separate housing resident committee that meets regularly, that has a full quorum, that provides recommendations to SHA staff. In this particular case, what's happened quite often with this Housing Advisory Committee, or the HAC as it's called, is that they don't meet as frequently as we would like, even when we have a quorum, and oftentimes the SHA Commission has been required to take action on items before the Housing Advisory Committee has been able to provide any guidance. Other groups that council could consider sunsetting in the future is the Youth Advisory Commission. I started with the city in 2007, and it was inactive when I started here. And to my knowledge, I believe Councilor Nordyke served on that when she was a youth, but it hasn't been active. It's one of the difficulties we've had is just having enough staff to maintain the existing boards and commissions. So while it's not recommended to be sunsetted, it's something council could consider. The other group is the Sister City Advisory Commission. Again, that's been active for several years, or inactive for several years, excuse me. A different way of approaching the need to have that advisory commission would be to have an ad hoc committee formed by council when there's a consideration of adding a sister city or taking action on a particular existing sister city. Next slide. So there are several code amendments in SRC Chapter 2 and the related chapters that, as long as we had the patient open, so to speak, I wanted to come in and make these changes. Under SRC 2, we have a provision for who can administer oaths. I wanted to add elected officials to that in addition to the other folks. The oath for a city councilor and for the member of city council is a ceremonial act, but it's good to have that information in there so we know who can and cannot administer oaths. There's also a process to adjust the municipal court judge's salary. Currently, the Municipal Judge Compensation Committee meets every 2 years to make a recommendation to council, and then the judge's salary is adjusted based on a council decision. It's a 3-person committee. It involves a city manager and then members of the public who are on the bar. It's also been a difficult committee or commission to fill over the years. We're not recommending sunsetting it because we need to try to take a deeper look at that. But for right now, in order to adjust the judge's salary, we're proposing an administrative process where the HR director, using the same salary study process that the commission would use, would make a recommendation to city council on that. The last one is just updating the definition of conflict of interest and adding a member of household to the city ethics code. Those definitions were updated in state law. We're just staying consistent with that. So next steps, I would love to get some feedback from council. Thank you. And if you have any changes or additional work you'd like us to take on, we can take a look at that and take care of that. And then we'd come back with first reading of an ordinance on July 27th.
Are you open to questions?
Please.
Does anyone have any questions for Dan? Councilor Nishioka.
I like to make comments, not so much questions. I want to thank the Boards and Commissions Committee for all the hard work. These were a lot of meetings, and I'm thanking our city attorney and recorder, Amy Johnson. They all did so much work. And then each of the staffs for the committees had to go to those committees and gather information that was brought back. It has been a long process. I've gotten to serve as alternate on this committee, so been to most of the meetings. And I think all of us recognized that adjustments needed to be made to the codes, and it's something that can get put off because other things are higher priority. So I respect the fact that you kept going at it and getting it done. And so I thank you all for all the work that you did. So people that served on this committee are Councilors Nordyke, Councilors Matthews, Councilors Gwynn, and Mayor Julie Hoy. And so again, thank you all for the great work. Along with going through the applications to appoint people, you were also working through all of these revisions. And I know it took up a great deal of time. So thank you again.
Councilor Varney.
Thank you. I had a quick question. Well, I guess I need a little more information on the criminal background check criteria. I was just kind of curious. The first one says basically you can't have a violent felony. So does that mean you can have a felony on your record of any class as long as it's not violent? Is that what you're saying?
I think that's all encompassing, so a felony, including a violent felony, would be the requirement.
Okay.
So sorry, that's poorly phrased in the slide in the materials, but the criteria, as I understand it, as we talked about it previously with council, it's any felony crime at any period of time.
Okay, because I thought if someone was seeing it, it might be kind of confusing, especially with the third bullet that says any misdemeanor conviction within the last 3 years. And I'm assuming that's any class as well.
That's correct, and that's my confusion on that. I think when we were talking specifically about CPRB at one point, there was a motion to disallow any member with a violent felony, and then that sort of got morphed into this presentation, but it's any felony.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else? Councilor Tigan, Councilor Brown, anything? Yes, Councilor Nordyke, go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor Hoy. I want to thank the members of the Boards and Appointments Committee, past and present. I've served on this committee for multiple years, and so I've been through this process from day one, where I can tell you that a lot of the boards and appointments that we made, we often felt like we had our hands tied because we were looking for someone with museum curation experience or someone who had landscape architecture experience or other levels of experience that effectively close the door to public service. Now, while those things are nice to have, those aren't the only people who have something valuable to say and something valuable to give back. So we've made your appointment process more inclusive. That was the intention. Now, when you go online and you apply, you will be asked whether you have ever experienced homelessness or housing insecurity or food insecurity, or whether you've ever made less than a livable wage. Why? Because those experiences are relevant. just like having a master's degree is relevant. Having struggled and worked paycheck to paycheck is relevant to me and to anyone on the Boards and Appointments Committee. And so I was so pleased to see that for past and present members, there was widespread support for opening the doors rather than raising up the fences. So that's a big deal for me. I also appreciate the fact that we're trying to emphasize more geographic diversity. There are some wards of the city, like mine, that tend to be overrepresented. My ward, for whatever reason, tends to have higher voter turnout, just higher turnout, period. And that's great. That's great for Southwest Salem. But we all know that when we make decisions as a body, they impact all of our residents. And sometimes the decisions we make have a disproportionate impact on our residents and who live in Northeast Salem, residents who don't make much money, things like that. So I think that those are really great changes as well. But overall, I'm just really pleased with the fact that we are trying to make it easier for you, members of the public, to get engaged in our city. And so that's what I'm extremely proud of, and I want to thank the staff and the Baker Tilly consultants, and again, all of my fellow members of the Boards and Appointments Committee for supporting this progress, because this is definite progress. Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, I don't like to repeat things, but gratitude is real. And the fact that you all worked so hard on this, Dan, and there was even a moment where you promised to send Linda Rose flowers, I think, or something, because of how much work this has been. So it's a very complex set of problems over, 18 different boards and commissions, or more than that. So there's a lot to it. So thank you all around. All right, and that was information only. So we're good. Are you bringing that back?
So that'll come back as an ordinance in the end of July. If councilors have any comments or direction to change any of the proposed changes we're making, that would be great to have that now. If not, just reach out to me via email or phone call, and I can talk through those with you.
Great. Everybody good with that? All right, then. Thank you, Dan. Now, we got thumbs up from the guys. Good. We are moving on to information reports. So did I miss one? Information reports. I'll just read these down. If anybody has anything, just raise your hand. Item 6A, Center 50 Plus Advisory Commission 2025 Annual Report. Thank you for being here, Marilyn. Yeah, very good. Okay. Item 6B, the update on the local bidder pilot program. Anyone? Seeing none. Item 6C, purchases approved administratively from May 1st, 2026 through May 31st, 2026. Item 6D, Planning Commission decision, a minor comprehensive plan map amendment, neighborhood plan map amendment and zone change to IP, from IP to IC, to allow greater variety of education services uses on the property approved. Item 6E, and yes, go ahead, Councilor Nishioka.
I just wanted to make a comment on 6D. The Salem Kaiser School Board bought this property that had been vacant for a while, so I just want to say that I'm appreciative of this code change so that they could, the Salem Kaiser School District could use this building for educational opportunities. And so I'm pleased to see that that code change was made so they could use the building.
Thank you. Item 6E, announcing the mayoral appointments to the Human Rights Commission. And item 6F, proclamation of the mayor and canvass of votes from the May 19, 2026 primary election. All right, seeing none, we are moving on then. We have no ordinances. We have set item 7.1, the first reading.
Ordinance Bill Number 7-26, an ordinance relating to the tourism promotion area, amending Section 38.080.
Yes, go ahead.
I move to advance ordinance bill number 7-26 to second reading.
Second.
Motion and a second by Gwen. Counselor, anything to the motion? No? Any comment? Will the recorder please call the roll?
Counselor Brown. Counselor Vang, absent. Counselor Nordijk.
Aye.
Counselor Varney.
Aye.
Counselor Tigan.
Aye.
Counselor Nishioka.
Aye.
Counselor Matthews.
Aye.
Counselor Gwynn.
Aye.
Mayor Julie Hoy.
Aye. All right, we have no second readings. We do have one person signed up for public comment, Sol Keeter. Please come forward to the podium, hit the button so you see the green light there. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Please announce your name and your ward or your address for the record.
Thank you so much, Mayor and Council. My name's Saul Kiter. I live in Ward 8, recent transplant from Seattle down to Salem. And I just wanted to talk a bit about a nonprofit that I'm working with a founder in Seattle. It's called Americans for Equality. What we do basically is AI training and cybersecurity training for underserved communities. So far, we have 1,100 people who've gone through the program, underserved. We have 88% placement rate, and we have partnerships with Microsoft. We have partnerships across the table in tech in Seattle. And having just moved to Oregon with my family, we thought, why don't we operate in Oregon as well? So here we are. My goal with this is basically just to get our name out and start talking about what we're doing. Like I said, we have foundations in Seattle, but now we're operating in Oregon. And ultimately what we're looking for is assistance with navigating the CDBG funding side of things. And so if there's a contact that's available for the CDBG funding side of the house, it'd be really great if I could speak with them. And yeah, ultimately we're just looking for basically an intro and start the conversation. So thank you again for the leadership, commitment to Salem's communities, and happy to follow up with any impact report or schedule a meeting. And yeah, I can be reached at saul.kiter@americansforequality.org. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. All right. Before we adjourn, I just want to say thank you to everyone for your patience with the sound system, and to those who are fighting it. You have our grace. Thank you for all of your hard work, and we'll look forward to better things next meeting. Okay, we are adjourned.